And what's up, everyone? Gregory's Odd World here. Getting ready to head out to the job site. And as you know, I like to do some of my content creating when I'm in my truck because I feel like I can focus on the subjects that I like to talk about. So, today I kind of want to talk about vulnerability because I just had a lovely conversation with a friend of mine at the coffee shop, and we were talking about it, so I might as well bring up a conversation about it. So when I was young, I really found it difficult to be vulnerable around people or around my teachers or my peers. I didn't like putting myself in a vulnerable position. And one of my aspects was being strong. I was a very strong young man. I'm still a strong man, but I'd say that my strength has went into my brain rather than the strength going into all of my, muscles. But when I was young, being strong and muscular was super important to me. I was into wrestling and that type of stuff. In sports, I watched the original, wrestling stuff or whatever, the WWF. That's that's how long I've been watching that, which is I guess now WWE or something like that. And then somewhere in the middle of my life, I graduated into just watching UFC and professional boxing, that type of stuff. But when I was growing up, I grew up dyslexic, and also at some point I was diagnosed with ADHD, which I don't, now that I'm an adult, I don't know if that's truly a symptom. I think that possibly maybe it's that we just aren't interested in the subjects that we're being taught. And I think there's a lot to say about that, about not being interested in the subject and not being able to focus because it's not interesting. So I didn't let people know that I couldn't read or write very well. I was ashamed of it. Actually, still this day, I'd say I'm a little shy about it. Because if you ask me to spell, I probably wouldn't be able to spell to save my life. Fortunately, we have things like Google and all that type of stuff, and they spell for us. So actually, as much as I hate to say it, technology has put me in a position to where I can read and write somewhat better, but without the technology, I'm not going to probably be able to read and write as well. So that's something I know I need to work on. Probably just actually read books. I'm more into books on tape and stuff like that, and so that's why you always find me talking about subjects that are important. But that definitely stunted my growth. Not allowing myself to be vulnerable and being embarrassed of my shortcomings. When we actually start to just kind of groom our lives around what we think about ourselves rather than what people think about us, a really beautiful thing happens. We start changing into the person that we always wanted to be. And the craziest part is it actually becomes very simple and simplistic because we're not listening to anyone about all that. And there's no reason to listen to anyone all about that, especially if you don't believe it. So when you're basically listening to someone and you're allowing their belief, which is possibly a culture belief or something that's just been impressed and being expressed by wherever they learned it, and you're allowing those beliefs to groom and shape not only your beliefs about yourself but your life, then what happens is you become somebody who's more involved with trying to make everyone happy instead of making yourself happy. I think that Robin Williams was one of those people. I think Jim Carrey is one of those people. And I think that there's a long list of these type of people. Actually, I think that somewhat I'm that type of person, because I know I'm definitely a codependent. I really have the need to be needed by people. Nothing makes me feel more alive than helping and giving. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be a crutch, because like I have a relationship, with family, and sometimes I feel that, they don't need or want, and it kind of makes me feel like, oh, well, what's my purpose then? And the truth is that I just need to realize that I'm not always needed and I'm not always wanted. And that's okay. I'm coming to grips with that now that I'm, getting older and trying to master these thoughts and things that are going on in my head. But, this vulnerability thing goes a lot deeper than just, what we believe other people think about us. In fact, vulnerability goes so deep that we forget about something that's really important, and that's that creativity is literally the difference between us and the rest of the species on the planet, is that we actually can create anything that we can vision. We have these visions and then we start creating. Animals don't do this. If you look at the bees, when they make their beehive, they always make it the same, and it's always the same strength, and it's never different. It's just how they do it. It works, and so they don't change it up. Now, what we do is we make the beehive, and then the next thing you know, we want to make the beehive better. And then we make it better. And then we try to even make it better, and we keep on trying to just, make something better that's already been thought of. And at some point, what is good enough? And I think what that really means is, what is good enough is that we need to be able to actually create rather than just do something that's already been done. And there is a very big difference between learning something that's already been done and can be done and doing it, versus actually doing something that has not been done that nobody believes can be done. And there was a smart lady that had something to say about that. I can't remember the name, unfortunately, but she basically said that if it hasn't been done, then somebody's just not trying hard enough. And so that's like literally what's going on. And I believe at the core of us trying to make things like better, and instead of, starting new, is convenience. I really believe that that's really what it is that we want to put convenience before creativity. And this is why we choose to just learn a skill and then master that skill and then use that skill to shape our lives. And I believe that's a snare, because I think that we should be mastering multiple skills and then connecting the dots of all those multiple skills in order to create our own of whatever it is that we're trying to do. For me, my purpose is to make the world a better place. That's the whole purpose of my videos, and that's the whole purpose of basically my life. And that's what makes me tick and talk, and that's what makes me feel the best. So that's what I do. And a lot of people in my life, unfortunately kind of disagreed with that. Even tell me things like, that's great and everything, but don't try to press those beliefs on me. And that hurts. It really does. But you know what? It's not my choice for me to push my beliefs off onto anyone else. I can do what I want as they can do what they want. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. If somebody wants to value convenience over, creativity, then fine, Or if somebody wants to value security or significance or certainty over contribution, growth, or love, then that's their that's their prerogative. They can do that. Fine. You see, when I find those type of people, I just move on, because the intent is clear, and there's no reason for me to try to convince somebody to value what I value. If they value it, they do. And if they don't, they don't. So that's that. I'm kind of going to draw this to a conclusion, kind of pull the end out here. But really what I think it comes down to is it comes down to that list. And back to the good old word that we talk about, intent. If you value security, certainty, and significance near the top of your list, then I can tell you how your life is going to turn out. And I'm nobody special. I'm just a teacher that's a student as well. I'm both. Because there's plenty of things I don't know. But one thing I do know is that when we value contribution at the top of our list and growth, and then we value love, certainty, security, and significance in that direct order, life really starts to change, and the world starts to really become more clear. The world bends to your will with that list, and you can do whatever you want. So that's just my take. Like, subscribe, share, maybe hit the ring notification, or pass this information on to someone that you love, because as you know, if it doesn't come from love, it's wrong. Gregory's Oddworld signing out.